high volume production and prototyping. Those are two completely different worlds. And if you want to find out which approaches we are using, stick around and we'll check it out. Here behind me, you can see a ficonTEC machine. It's a fully automated setup for high volume production, and we're using it for micro assembly or micro precision alignments. Of course, the downside of this machine is you have a lot of programming effort, and the tooling has to be arranged, and in the end, you need some weeks until the process is really running. The big advantage is it's fully automated and you don't have to care a lot about it. So now, how do we handle first prototypes, alpha series, small production series? There we need a completely different attempt, and for that, please follow me to the FINEPLACER. Okay, here we are at the FINEPLACER. And the FINEPLACER basically does the same as the ficonTEC machine. So this means we're using it to do micro precision assembly of elements. For example, a prism has to be aligned to some other parts or edges. And the main difference between the two machines is this is a more or less manual machine. This means we don't need any software programming, no fancy stuff. We just can use it very easily. And this is possible due to the really clever principle. So let's have a closer look to it on this sketch. We have a chip over there. This is representing the part which has to be placed. We have a substrate here on the bottom. There's a base. And if we now do a projection perpendicularly to each other of the two parts, there is a crossing point, and this is the so-called swivel point. What does this mean? The chip is attached via a vacuum sucker to a so-called swivel arm. And now the point is, the clever principle behind the FINEPLACER is they have a partial mirror here and the camera from the top. So you can either take a look from the top to the bottom part of the chip, which has to be placed, or you can have a look through the mirror to the substrate, to the top part of the substrate. If you now do an overlay of the two pictures, it's possible to align in one camera picture the two parts to each other. And if this is done correctly, we just have to swivel down the arm, and then the parts are precisely aligned down to a half a micrometer or so. Now let's take a closer look to the actual FINEPLACER machine. There in the back, you can see the swivel arm. Then here we have a movable base for the substrate. We will come back to this later. And on top, we have the camera with the partial mirror here. I've already placed in this case, it's a prism, to the swivel arm. And if I now go down to the substrate, you can see here we have an edge where we want to align to the prism. What is special to this base is there are two differential micrometer screws. So this means we can move the part really precisely in sub-micrometer accuracy. If we now do the overlay of the two pictures, we now can align the two edges to each other. And now all we have to do is just swivel down the arm. And now you can see the side view of the process. So this is the prism which is placed from the top. And now we're done, and it will have an accuracy, as mentioned before, down to half a micrometer for that. I hope you learned something today and you enjoyed this video. If so, please leave a comment, and see you in one of the next videos. Bye-bye.